Leo was a millionaire CEO, but he suffered from a strange illness. A master had predicted that he wouldn't survive past this year's New Year's Eve unless he found a woman with a red birthmark on her shoulder and formed a connection with her to completely dispel the toxins in his body. Thus, every day, Leo would summon 100 women to his room, instructing them to undress so he could inspect them. However, years passed, and he still hadn't found the woman the master had foretold. One day, while walking down the street, Leo suddenly had a toxic flare-up. Coincidentally, Nurse Anna happened to pass by. Seeing him in distress, she kindly stepped forward to ask what was wrong, but Leo coldly told her not to meddle. Just as they were arguing, Leo was shocked to discover that Anna had the exact red birthmark the master had described. Without hesitation, he grabbed Anna and kissed her directly. Anna, furious, slapped him hard and ran away, accidentally dropping her name tag in the process. Leo immediately ordered his men to investigate her identity. Meanwhile, Anna had just returned home, only to be forced by her stepmother to marry a teacher 40 years her senior, who had already sent the bride price. The marriage was non-negotiable. As Anna desperately resisted, Leo arrived just in time with his men to propose. Leo's assistant displayed a wealth of luxurious betrothal gifts, causing Bess, Anna's younger sister, to be overjoyed, thinking Leo wanted to marry her because she had once met him. To her shock, Leo stepped forward and firmly declared that the woman he wanted to marry was Anna. Left with no choice but to escape her wicked stepmother's forced marriage, Anna had no option but to obediently follow Leo home. The master called Leo and told him that he must have intercourse with Anna on New Year's Eve, or he would not survive. However, the toxin would then transfer to Anna, and in severe cases, she might even die. Leo immediately ordered his men to choose a burial site with excellent feng shui for Anna, then took out a 7-day marriage contract and forced her to sign it. At first, Anna wanted to refuse, but under Leo's overwhelming pressure, she had no choice but to comply. That day, Anna went to school to collect her graduation certificate, only to be publicly exposed by her sister, Bess, who revealed photos of her with an older mentor. Humiliated by everyone, even the principal refused to hear her explanation. Just as she was on the verge of breaking down, Leo arrived, pulled her into his arms, and publicly declared that she was his wife. That same day, Leo's younger brother, Bill, came to him and mockingly gifted him a burial shroud, taunting that he would die on New Year's Eve. Enraged, Leo severely punished Bill, scaring him into fleeing. However, at that very moment, the toxin in Leo's body flared up again. He pulled Anna into his arms, kissed her fiercely, and then turned away. That night, Anna overheard Leo's conversation and finally learned the real reason he married her. If he didn't sleep with her on New Year's Eve, he would die. But what she didn't know was that once she got intimate with him, she might lose her life as well. One day, Anna personally embroidered a scarf and gifted it to Leo as a token of gratitude for his protection, only to be met with his cold rejection. However, when he noticed the wounds on her hands, an inexplicable sense of pity arose in his heart. At that moment, his assistant entered to report that a suitable burial site had been found for Anna. Leo took out the photos for her to choose from, but to his surprise, she excitedly assumed he was taking her on a honeymoon. A strange, indescribable emotion stirred within Leo. That night, the master visited him again, urging him to be intimate with Anna as soon as possible, or the consequences would be unimaginable. But Leo found himself lost in thought. He realized that he had gradually developed feelings for Anna. On New Year's Eve, when the housekeeper reported that Anna had not yet returned home, Leo immediately sent people to search for her. He soon found her, only to be stunned by the sight of her praying for him, wishing for his health and longevity. Anna took the initiative to kiss Leo, and he could no longer restrain himself, responding to her kiss deeply. She willingly gave herself to him, and the two embraced passionately. Suddenly, Anna gently called him husband. Leo froze for a moment before abruptly turning away. He couldn't accept the fact that he had personally doomed his own wife. However, Anna misunderstood his reaction, thinking he found her unworthy and refused to spend the night with her. The next day, Leo sought out the master, demanding a way for both him and Anna to survive. However, the master shook his head and said that, for now, He could only use divine needles to extend Leo's life by 10 days. When Leo returned home, he found Anna packing her belongings. She expressed her desire for a divorce, but Leo tore the divorce papers to shreds, refusing to let her leave. Ashley, Leo's childhood sweetheart, had specially returned to the country that day to surprise him. However, when she arrived home and discovered Anna's presence, she was both shocked and furious to learn that Leo was already married. She immediately sought out Leo's stepmother for answers, and the two quickly allied, plotting against Anna. Meanwhile, Anna learned about Ashley through the housekeeper. When she found out that Ashley and Leo once had a marriage arrangement, she couldn't help but feel saddened. Just then, Leo called her, asking her to accompany him to meet the family elders the next day. However, due to an urgent matter, Leo was delayed, leaving Anna to go ahead alone. Upon arriving, she unexpectedly encountered Ashley. Leo's stepmother warmly welcomed Ashley but cast a look of disdain at Anna. As Anna stepped into the main hall, all the family members stared at her with contempt. Then, Leo's stepmother coldly declared that Anna must abide by the family's traditions. She ordered Anna to serve tea to the elders. Bill deliberately spilled the scalding tea onto Anna's hands, causing her skin to turn red and blister instantly. Next, they forced her to kneel on a carpet filled with steel needles. Anna cried out in pain, begging for mercy, but the stepmother continued tormenting her. Thinking of Leo, Anna endured the suffering as long as she could, until, finally, she could no longer hold on and collapsed in agony. At that moment, Leo finally arrived. Ashley was overjoyed and rushed forward to show her concern, but Leo pushed her hand away without hesitation and demanded to know where Anna was. Meanwhile, Anna was tightly bound and trapped under the table. She used all her strength to make noise, hoping to catch Leo's attention. Ashley and the stepmother desperately tried to stop him, but it was too late. Leo had already discovered Anna. When he saw her covered in wounds, his heart ached so much that he could barely breathe. Without hesitation, he scooped Anna into his arms and, in a fit of rage, dealt with his malicious stepmother and brother. Ignoring the accusations of the entire family, he resolutely announced his departure from the family and carried Anna away without looking back. Ashley then sought out the master, using her long-standing connection with Leo as an excuse to gain his trust. She successfully tricked him into giving her a potion that could temporarily stabilize Anna's life, though it still carried the risk of killing her. She then brought the medicine to Leo, telling him that it could save Anna, but the price was that he must give up his family fortune. That night, Leo meticulously arranged a fireworks display as a surprise for Anna. Moved to tears, she watched the dazzling lights illuminate the sky. Leo personally fed her the medicine, assuring her that she would be completely fine after taking it. Meanwhile, Ashley had already orchestrated a scene to frame the master, making it look like he had committed suicide, intending to pin all the blame on him. Not long after, Ashley called Leo, but it was Anna who answered the phone. Over the line, Ashley coldly told Anna that Leo had only been using her feelings, that he never truly loved her. She also revealed that even with the medicine, she still might die. Anna was devastated. She couldn't believe that the man she loved had deceived her. Just then, Leo emerged from the shower and gently pulled her into his embrace. But Anna had already made up her mind. She would sacrifice herself, just to save Leo's life. 3 hours later, Leo rushed to the master with Anna in his arms, only to hear the shocking news that the master had already committed suicide. Desperate, he sought help from other masters, but they all shook their heads inside, saying that Anna's heart had already stopped beating. Leo was plunged into unbearable pain, desperately wishing for his beloved to return. The next morning, when he woke up, he was stunned to find that Anna's body was gone. His assistant informed him that Anna's family had taken her remains. A master then told him that if Anna were still alive, they would surely have a daughter in this lifetime. He advised Leo to let go and allow Anna to find peace. However, Anna was not dead. 7 years later, Anna returned to the place where she once lived, only to suddenly collapse. Her daughter, Lily, hurriedly took her to the hospital. The doctor informed Lily that her mother required an enormous sum of money for treatment, or she wouldn't be able to receive medical care. Determined, Lily promised to find a way to save her mother. But after searching through all their luggage, she could only find a few scattered coins. At that moment, her eyes fell upon a photograph. Lily guessed that this must be her father's residence. Realizing that only by finding her father could she secure the money needed to save her mother, she set off on her journey. 7 years had passed, yet Leo still couldn't forget Anna. Every year, he sent countless gifts to her and their child. Following the clues in the photograph, Lily finally located where Leo lived. There, she discovered letters he had written to both Anna and herself. She then picked up the clothes on the table, took the gold with her, and rushed back to the hospital to pay for her mother's medical treatment. Leo walked into the room and immediately noticed that the gifts he had sent to his wife and daughter were missing. Without hesitation, he ordered his assistant to investigate. Meanwhile, Lily arrived at the hospital and handed over a pile of gold to the doctor to pay for her mother's medical expenses. Just then, Leo stormed in and forcibly reclaimed the gifts. Lily insisted that these were presents from a father to his wife and child, but Leo coldly warned her not to impersonate his daughter. Because Lily had offended Leo, the hospital promptly decided to expel both Anna and her daughter. Ashley, by chance, overheard a doctor mention that a mother and daughter had stolen Leo's belongings. The moment she heard the patient's name was Anna, she was utterly shocked. Anna was still alive. On the other side, Lily once again arrived at Leo's house. The moment she saw him, she finally realized the man standing before her was her father. At that moment, Ashley approached Leo and deliberately fanned the flames, saying that many shameless children nowadays falsely claim to be his biological offspring, hoping to seize his wealth. Just then, Lily pointed at the altar where a framed photograph was placed and said that the woman in the picture was her mother. But Leo snatched the frame away and ordered her to leave immediately. Not long after, Ashley had Anna and Lily driven away. In the freezing winter, Lily pushed her frail mother through the streets, homeless with nowhere to go. Yet, she still held on to her resolve, promising her mother that she would take care of her no matter what. At that moment, Leo's car passed by. Seeing him, Lily immediately pushed Anna in front of the vehicle, blocking its path. She dropped to her knees, desperately begging Leo to save her mother. But Leo refused to even spare Anna a glance. Instead, he coldly tossed her some money and told her to find treatment on her own. Just as Leo turned to leave, a faint voice called out, "Lily." That familiar voice made Leo freeze in place. He whipped around, his eyes widening in shock as he stared at Anna, unable to believe she was still alive. Without hesitation, he rushed forward, scooping Anna into his arms and urgently taking her to the hospital. Later, he held Lily tightly, his heart filled with guilt as he sincerely apologized, vowing to make amends for all the pain he had caused them. When Anna woke up, she realized she had gone blind. The doctor informed Leo that if she didn't receive treatment soon, she would only have a month left to live. He then asked about her past injuries, but Leo remained silent, turned around, and left. At that moment, Anna was holding Lily when she suddenly heard her daughter mention Dad. Her expression instantly turned cold as she declared that she never wanted to see him again in this lifetime. Leo stood outside the door, hearing every word clearly. He gestured to Lily, signaling her not to reveal his identity just yet. Then, disguising himself as a nurse, he stayed behind to care for Anna. A few days later, Leo sought help from the master. The master told him that the only way for Anna to fully recover was to be intimate with him on New Year's Eve, but the price was that Leo might suffer lifelong disability or even death. On the day of discharge, Anna thanked the nurse for taking care of her these past few days. Then, holding Lily's hand, she prepared to leave. Leo grabbed his daughter, hoping she would persuade Anna to let him take care of them. But Lily refused outright. She didn't want to deceive her mother. Leo could only watch helplessly as the mother and daughter walked away. That day, while strolling through the streets, Anna and Lily were handed a flyer. The competition's grand prize was $200,000. Lily immediately pulled Anna excitedly, urging her to sign up for the contest. After investigating, Leo discovered that Ashley was the true culprit behind the master's death and the misunderstandings between him and Anna. In the end, Ashley faced the punishment she deserved. During the competition, The host invited each family to introduce themselves. When it was Lily's turn, the host asked where her father was. Anna replied that she was a single mother, causing Lily to be mocked by the other children. At that moment, Leo suddenly appeared and declared, "I am Lily's father." He looked at Anna and confessed that he had been the male nurse who had cared for her. He then expressed his wish to participate in the program as Lily's father. Throughout the competition, Anna and Leo spent a joyful time together. His gentleness and care gradually melted her heart. In the final round, where the parents' love was to be tested, Leo suddenly dropped to one knee and proposed to Anna on stage. They embraced tightly, and Anna was deeply moved. Using the excuse that the program required a New Year's blessing video, Leo brought Anna and Lily back home. Anna thanked him for his kindness, and the three of them spent a blissful time together. That night, Anna got drunk and Leo carried her to her room. His eyes filled with pain and sorrow. He didn't want to lose the love of his life again. That night, they completely surrendered to each other's warmth. The next morning, Anna woke up and was shocked to find that her eyesight had been fully restored. She thought she had been intimate with the male nurse. But when she saw that the man beside her was actually Leo, she was utterly stunned. Overwhelmed with rage, Anna slapped Leo hard and furiously declared that she never wanted to see him again. She turned and left. Leo collapsed onto the floor in despair, memories of their past flooding his mind. Lily led Anna into a room filled with letters that Leo had written to her over the years. But Anna still believed it was all a lie. At that moment, the master appeared and revealed the truth. Leo had never stopped loving her. He was even willing to sacrifice his own life to save her. Tears streamed down Anna's face as she finally understood everything. Just then, Leo appeared, gazing at her and Lily. Anna, with tears in her eyes, smiled, her heart overflowing with happiness as she opened her arms to welcome him back.